Hello everybody, Mealworm here. I'm going to make a very quick video on traveling through space by warping to your allies. Now that I'm in a union, I can go ahead and show you this process. And it's basically just going to make traveling a lot easier because you can just warp there the first time instead of having to slow boat your way out. So what you'll need to first find is an ally base or structure that is within your sailing range. By default, that's 1500 GM or whatever. And when I say structure, I mean like the mining platforms as well as outposts that aren't like turned into bases. Even though they don't show up on the overview, like when you zoom out, only bases do, they do still work for this process. So that's one thing to keep in mind here. But essentially what you'll do is you'll want to make an operation that is nearby. You can even make an operation directly on top of an ally. And let's just do that with Zebra's outpost right here. So we have an allied outpost. We can create an operation. You can do that by tapping on the outpost and doing transfer. It's going to ask you to create one, or you can just create one manually. So we'll create an outpost. It doesn't have to be on it. It can be near it. Just know that the distance between your operation and the structure, that the base, will be slow boated. So you could even make this 1500, gigameters or whatever away. It would warp to that and then slow boat the rest of the way. So for purpose of this, I'm putting it directly on top.
New operation created.
Now, since we just made this, you'll see the warp drive is no. We haven't been here before, we don't have a ship in it. We technically can't warp to the operation. But what we can do is warp to the outpost. So I'm just going to tap right up tight here in the corner, and we're going to do transfer. This is going to, basically have us move a fleet over. So just going to go through, grab the recon frigate,
New
create.
created.
Now you'll see when we are moving and transferring, we now have options for sailing routes, and these are, everything that's within range that you can bounce off of that will make things essentially quicker for you. So direct, if we were to slow boat this, it's going to take us 5 minutes. But because there's an outpost here, we can sail via the outpost, and you'll see the arrows appear. That means we're going to warp there. We're going to warp right into it, and you'll see we're down to 2 minutes. So with this short distance, it's already cutting it in half. So you can imagine if you're actually moving 1500 gigameters, what have you.
Initiating warp drive module.
Thank you, Warp Drive. So that's essentially how it works. I'll
Fleet
show you
composition
how you
updated.
can kind of do it long range and show you those numbers. Um, so I have this operation here that I've made that's right on top of Ghost of Darwin. So let's say here we're going to transfer. Same thing, we're just going to rapid form and pull this recon
New
frigate.
fleet created.
Boom. So you'll see sailing route via Ghost of Darwin because he's within my sailing range. It's only going to take a little under 29 minutes versus the slow way, we're at 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that's basically how that works. Once you get to that spot up there, wherever you're warping to,
Fleet
you can leave
composition
your
updated.
ship there and then begin your next leg of the journey, whether it's warping to another ally, warping to an outpost for staging, essentially whatever you want. Another thing that you can do
Our operation
if
is
you
cancelled.
have spare operations or if you're planning on a city attack or a base attack and you need to stage, is to hold operations. And so I like to keep the operations overview here. I'm playing on the PC screen, but I also have a big note phone, so I keep this up. But you can do, so this is by the Wallops city. So we can create an operation on top of or close to a friendly outpost. And I actually wanted to name
Our
that, so we're going to
operation is
cancel that.
cancelled.
So let's say we're going to create it, and you can actually tap this and name it whatever you want. So let's call this Wallops Stage and confirm.
New operation created.
So now when we're looking at our operations list, you can see Wallops Stage here. So then I can, let's say I'm all the way on the other side of the universe. I'm looking at my base, yada yada, and I need to go to Wallops. Boom, it's here. If I have fleets that are standing by, they will also show up in this list. And because the outpost is here, any fleets I need to send here will still warp. just know that if you have fleets here and you cancel your operation, your fleets still will go, they'll retreat back to base. So don't delete it, but you can leave it there for use. That's essentially how that quick travel works. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to me on Discord, and I'll see you in space.